Welcome back to another episode of the Downsizing Roadmap podcast with your hosts, Jody Roscoe and Heather Fisher. We're talking about all things downsizing, from our own experiences with clients to guest experts. Let's make downsizing easier, one conversation at a time.
Hi, welcome to Downsizing Roadmap podcast. We are here for part 2 of our New Year's episodes, talking all about a fresh start and a downsizing reset for the new year.
Yeah.
I'm Heather Fisher.
I'm Jody Roscoe.
And we're going to get into some action items today.
Yeah, so last podcast we talked all about mindset and about temporal landmarks, which is a lot of big words to say that the reason that we get at the beginning of the year and we kind of get this momentum to change everything is because it's scientific. And so when there are landmarks in our life, our brain wants that. It wants to have a new beginning,
a new page.
And have a place where it feels like it's the old time and the new time. And so the change of the year is perfect for that. And so we talked a lot about mindset on how we can take that momentum and use it. And so if you haven't listened to that one, go listen to that one first.
Yeah, and come back.
Then come back to us because that one kind of gets us to where our future this year is going to look like and what it's going to look like. And then this one is going to be more actual tactics on making it happen so that we don't fall into that gap of, getting super excited about something and making goals and then, falling down and not being able to do it. So,
yeah, most people deeply want a fresh start, but they just don't know how to get started. So we'll talk about that and some strategies for that. You may have come out of last year just feeling like you were tired of always feeling behind at home and not on top of things, maybe feeling like you couldn't find things or, your home just felt too full and too overloaded for you and you're looking for that way to jump into the new year and lighten that load a little bit.
Yeah, so that is definitely me. I do this every year as soon as, by right after New Year's, I'm ready for Christmas to come down, and then I'm ready to clean out all the closets, and I'm ready to just get rid of all the stuff, and that is definitely how I feel. And so the reason that we don't end up doing that like continually, if you're one of those people who doesn't end up continually doing that, is because you haven't really changed your identity around who you think you are. So if it's all the stuff that just continually accumulates in your house, you're not somebody who tells themselves that you're, live simply.
An organized person that lives simply. Just, say that to yourself on repeat until you believe it.
Right. So think about things like what drained you in your home last year, what felt too cluttered or chaotic, and, what would freedom feel like. And so we're going to take all of that from last episode, and we're going to start in on some areas that we can work on. So
yeah, I think really identifying those hurdles will let different areas of what we're talking about today let you know what resonates with you the most. Was it getting ready for the holidays? Was it dealing with a specific chore in the kitchen? Where is your stuff being that obstacle for you?
Yeah, and then always remember we're going to have no guilt around it, right? So release all your guilt. You are allowing yourself to move forward in a way that doesn't hold you back from your old self in any kind of guilty sort of way, right?
New day.
So starting with reset and awareness, it can be a slow walk into it, right? It can be just a thought process first, notebook, make notes of how you're feeling, what was bugging you, all of that stuff, right? So just you can start with literally jotting things down. We had an episode where we talked about doing that kind of room by room. You can go back and check out that one, but just kind of track what it is that was bothering you. Visual clutter. Are there maintenance things?
Where are the places that you look at, you feel frustrated, and then you end with, oh, I'll deal with this later.
I find that anything that I have like this in my house, I usually the time that it takes me to fix it is like 15 minutes or maybe a half an hour.
After 7 years.
Correct. Correct. And so usually it's like, why didn't I do that? Like you would either you walk by something, either it's a shelf that bothers you or I've told this before, I'm sure, but like Mark fixed our shower head, and so it was like he had drywall to repair, and then so there was just kind of like the white drywall paste or whatever that is, and it was like that for 7 years. I didn't repaint it, which would have literally taken
Yes,
me like
I was calling you out.
less than 15 minutes for sure. And I stopped looking at it. We stopped looking at things, but it really did, in the back of my mind, I'm sure it bugged me, right? So it bugs you. And then when I finally went to sell the house, I fixed it, which we do a lot of that. So fix it now. Enjoy it. Stop letting it, irritate you. So what things are you walking by and it feels too cluttered or chaotic, or what needs to be repaired, or, just make a list. Make a list of those things, and then, you can tackle them one thing at a time.
Yeah, I had an invitation I'd received just like sitting in my way, and I'd probably moved it 20 times, and I'm like, just need to RSVP and put it in my calendar and throw this away. And I finally did it, but that was after, 2 weeks of moving the same thing around.
And how much mental time did you spend on it versus physical time that you spent to actually RSVP or not?
Yeah.
Sorry, we can't make it, or
Yeah.
yay, I can't wait to come. And that took literally like 2 minutes, maybe less.
Yeah.
But you probably spent half an hour, honestly, if you add it all up, looking at it, moving around, telling yourself you need to do that. Oh yeah, but I'll get that to that later, and all of those things. So
Correct. And all those, those are examples of things that we've avoided, but we're all doing that all day, every day on little, less than 1 minute tasks where we just push and shove and shuffle instead of just
doing,
taking action and doing. It can really change your life.
Yeah. So on this one, just pick one tiny space, like a little, little area, might be your bedside drawer or, something really little, and just do it and kind of just start to get that momentum going.
Yeah.
Might even just be something that's piled up in the corner or on the counter, or, just small thing.
Yeah, so once you have that awareness, then we're going to move into starting to set some easy routines over an overwhelming resolution that, you're setting yourself up for failure potentially. Just what little routines can you start to stack into your day to make everything a little bit easier? This might be, a 15-minute reset on Fridays, or it might be a daily 5-minute, resetting the living room before you move to the bedroom, folding blankets or straightening pillows. All of those things make the next thing, the next morning, the next day, make it that fresh page again.
Right,
when
feel
you're
better.
doing those resets, putting dishes away instead of leaving them on the drying rack.
Folding laundry, putting laundry away.
Yeah, you take out that need to shuffle it the next time you're using that space, because it's already clear and waiting for the next project, the next load, whatever that might be.
So if you're introducing consistency, you can do it in a lot of different ways, and just whatever one seems to resonate with you. Maybe you set a timer for 15 minutes once a week, and just kind of go around and deal with whatever. Maybe it's you tell yourself you're going to let go of 10 items a week. Maybe you have a bag that sits somewhere, and that bag needs to be full by the end of the week for donation, or whatever it is. Just make a little game of whatever it is to kind of trick yourself to get consistency. But the consistency part is the part that matters the most, and it's that you're continually doing it, either 5 minutes a day or 15 minutes a week or whatever that is. Once you build that consistency, then you will just start to automatically do it, and it'll just start to happen. You'll just be like, oh, I don't want that surface with that stuff on it. That goes to donation there, or that goes to the trash, or that, and you'll just start keeping those spaces clean.
Yeah, and as you're building those new routines, sometimes we find that you avoided a routine around it in the first place because there was some small hurdle.
Right.
So I would say, how can you remove that hurdle? For us, I know, I'm more of a casual folder, hold a shirt up and just fold it, and it's good enough for me. And, my husband is more, he wants the full flat surface to, like department store fold with much better creases than mine. And, but then he would avoid doing it until we had a specific, bigger folding spot. And it wasn't that he didn't want it folded or that he just, wasn't doing it. There was a little hurdle for him that he didn't have that surface. So really evaluate as you go through your day, are you avoiding something that could give you progress just because you don't have the right space cleared or the right home for something? Do you not put something away because it doesn't have a home? How
Right.
can you figure out those little tools to take those small hurdles away to make the routine easier?
Right. I think that just eliminates your frustration, and you get small little wins by being consistent, and so that is the routines are going to keep you moving along in the right direction. And what you were just saying about what hurdles or whatever that you have, for us it used to be mail, and so our next topic is paper and digital clearing, so that rolls right into mail. And number one, we didn't have a good place for it, so it would end up on the counter, which drove me crazy. And number two, like, there's just so much junk mail, that happens that you bring in that you don't need. So we changed our routine around it, and so if you go and get the mail, all of you, as you walk back up the driveway, all of the junk mail goes into, one hand and right into the garbage before you even bring it in the house, right?
Yeah.
And then the bills and the important things, whatever is still coming, although we have so much online now, so you can let go of a lot of that mail actually too. But that just goes straight into a specific place to be dealt with, right? So, and so it doesn't go on the counter anymore, which makes me very, very happy.
Yeah, it's funny. Households all over the world have that landing spot of the kitchen counters for things that are not kitchen related at all.
Right.
And just building a little routine that's different than that can free up your kitchen to serve its purpose, and you just feel so much lighter about it. I love that.
Yeah. So if paper is something that's really what's cluttering up your life and it's feeling crazy, here's a data point on it. The average American has 10,000 pieces of paper in their house.
Well, I guess if we have 300,000 items total,
Right.
then we can chalk up 10,000 of them are pieces of paper. But
Probably a lot of that's in boxes or filing cabinets, and it's probably a lot of that is paper you don't even need. But it does cause a constant low-grade stress for us. So you can create an importance documents binder or folder where you put all of the important stuff together, maybe in a fireproof box. You have a one landing spot for incoming mail, which was what I was talking about. That made a huge difference for us. One folder, a digital folder for items that are scanned. If there's something that needs to be kept for whatever reason, everyone knows where to find it. And this also counts as pictures and, mail, and there's digital stuff too. And I won't even get into my mail, guys. It's bad. I have lots and lots of mail in my inbox. So
since we last talked about digital clutter, I have been working very hard on my email boxes and keeping them, the numbers in there organized and lots to the trash. It is a losing battle, I tell you, because now we just went through the Christmas season where you order things online, and so suddenly you're on 20 more email lists for the random gift you bought someone. But
yes, I know.
I'm trying really hard and getting some success because I made a routine of like 0 inbox every day on my personal email addresses to just get that junk out. But we'll see how it goes in 2026.
That's awesome. So I think a quick win on paper would be to just get all of your important documents together in one place. That would be the first thing that I would do if paper was my my biggie. And you, I'm sure, have filing cabinets full of papers you haven't looked at in a really, really long time. Probably most of the filing cabinet papers could go. But I would start with finding all the important stuff and putting that together and using that as a win for paper.
Yeah, gathering gives you that first step in a big project. I mean, paper, if you're overloaded with it, it can be a big project to go through, but it's so important. So don't just bury your head in the sand. And but before you start organizing, you really want to start at that gather and then sorting it to what each, the different categories of paper or the different, institutions they came from or whatnot, and then choosing what is necessary out of each of those categories to keep. Don't just get more file cabinets and feel like, well, if it's filed, I've succeeded, because it's just kind of hiding that behind the drawers.
Right. Nobody will be able to find it in the file cabinets either.
No.
Right.
Right.
Right. So we do have a podcast on paper too. So go back and take a look at that one.
That's a great episode.
Yeah, that was a good episode on what to keep and all of those things. So if paper's what's really causing you some pain, go listen to that one, and that should help you out. So next up would be like safety and maintenance checks. So around the house, I think that's more like things that need to be repaired, or things that are bothering you. Is there a rug you trip on all the time?
Yeah.
What can we do to fix that? I actually found on Amazon they have these squares that are sticky on both sides, and you stick it to, like, if it's an area rug, you stick it to the bottom of the rug and the bottom of and the floor, and they work really great. And so that's literally 5-minute fix to if something's sliding around or you feel like you're tripping on it or something like that.
Yeah, I think looking at the house with these eyes really gives you some clarity around that bigger plan. You make it safe and keep up with the maintenance for now, but it gives you a good look at how big is that list, how many safety concerns are there that are facing us. Are these easy fixes with the rug corners, or is it a bigger problem where we need to be looking at different options sooner rather than later?
Yeah, are the just stairs going to be a big obstacle, and that's not an easy fix. That's a move.
Yeah. So going through this category of just looking at each room from safety and maintenance, are the repairs that might be necessary to do, are those something that we can handle financially and capability wise to make sure we keep maintaining this asset, or is it just too much to maintain and we need to think about something more manageable? All of that, and while you're making that list, what are the easy items for now that you can check off? Not having extension cords that you're going to trip over, or clutter on the steps where you pile things up that need to go up later but never seem to make it.
Right.
Cabinets that don't function well because they're overstuffed, or something might fall from a closet shelf or something if it's too stuffed, and that can be a safety issue.
Yeah. So pay attention to just kind of do you have carbon monoxide detectors? Have you replaced the smoke detector batteries? The dryer vents. All just that kind of maintenance stuff. So that's an area that you can work on. And quick win on that one would be to make a list of it and then do 3 of them. Just get 3 of them, whatever the easiest 3 are, get those done and kind of get yourself some momentum going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Next category is always a fun one, said sarcastically, the garage or storage area. Sometimes that looks like attics or basements. Wherever in your house is the place where things go to never be seen again.
Garage. The garage.
Sounds like garbage, as our
right.
friend Jerry Seinfeld would say.
Right.
But if it's a time of year where the weather's a little warmer and you can get out and tackle this, do it now, so the next time the seasons change, we're in the Midwest, so we get that definite cycle. And you don't want to be approaching this category as the winter weather is coming and not be able to park your car in the garage, or Be able to use that space for safety, to not be walking on the snow and ice, get it cleaned out in there, and things you aren't using are usually just unresolved decisions, old
Right.
tools, things that may have been broken and got shifted out of the main house to like, oh, I'll deal with that later. Maybe too many holiday items, old paint cans. If they're not going to be revisited, how do we get those taken care of? Where can we take them and just get them out of your property?
Yeah. I think in the garage, it tends to be a dumping ground, really. Like I'm not going to make a decision whether I'm going to keep this or not, but I'm just going to stick it out here on the shelf and, see later I'll deal with that. And so, so that's an identity thing again, right? So that's just, if you're somebody that just likes to live simply and that's who you tell yourself, then you would let that go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had, when we moved, we had quite a few paint cans in the garage that, even as we got the house ready to sell, we didn't go to that as our option for touch up or, repainting anything.
It was probably all separated and dried. And
yeah, I have no idea because we didn't open the cans. And I know some of it by looking at, what drips on the outside were several colors ago.
Right.
But that definitely is something with that one in, one out rule. Likely you're never going to go back to it for touch-ups. But even if you are, once you repaint something, what are the old colors from 20 years ago? Handle those and get them moved out. Or if they're just old.
Yeah,
and
the color's not
separated.
even in the house anymore.
Yeah, but there's a can in case.
Sure is.
You want one 2x2 square painted somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't think we're abnormal for that. I think many households all over have those random paint cans.
Oh, for sure. So if you're in the garage, just pick, one wall or one shelf, and just start getting momentum around that. Another category is social spaces. So, if you have people over, are the kitchen counters clean? Is the dining room table clean? My dining room table ends up being like whatever project I'm working on is on the dining room table, and it rotates a lot. So it's not like the same things have sat there forever, but there's often something sitting there that is whatever my next project is that I am working on. And so, work on cleaning those surfaces so when you walk by, it's not looking all junky. Again, that visual, clear space is better for your mind than having things like really cluttered. That visual clutter does cause you to have mental clutter.
Yeah, I think that's a great just hypothetical question to ask yourself as you're thinking about this category. Like, what would it take for me to have company over for dinner tonight?
Yeah, I was thinking that same thing. It's like, what if somebody stopped by? Would it be all right? Like, do you feel like your house looks like it's in a place where it would be like, or are you the one who's like running around before people come and like tidying everything up, right? So what if we just lived in that way where it would be okay if they just stopped by? And I do know some people who live like that. And we had a neighbor, and they were gone, and it started to rain, and they called us and they said, "Hey, we're out. Can you go over and shut our windows?" And their house was like immaculate, and we were like, "Wow." Yeah.
I mean, it just frees your mind and takes that burden. And I firmly believe that when you make room for things, they show up in unexpected ways. So if you make room for those social aspects in your life, and you live a life where it could happen at any moment, then I think, fate has a way of then bringing those opportunities to you, and you grab them. And so you can really fill your life with people that you love because you're ready for it. I just believe when you make room for something, it appears and fills
I totally agree
that
with that.
space. So that's a great way to just bring some more social into your life, as being ready for it.
I totally agree with that. So quick win on this one would be to choose one surface to keep clear all month. whether that's the kitchen counter, or for me, that would be the dining room table, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's outside porches or patios or, whatever that looks like. Pick an area and just that would be in a social space where if people came to your house, they would be looking at it, and just keep that clean.
Yeah. Okay, next category. This is sentimental lightening. So starting to move into a category that's a little more challenging sometimes, but you've done all this work so far on some of the easier categories. This would be things like kids' items that you still have, old hobbies, photos, cards, things like that, those sentimental items that might be taking up a lot of physical space. How can you manage those, release some of it, honor some of it?
Lighten the load.
Yeah, lighten that load. So you know what you have, you know that what you have you love and enjoy, and you get to see it's not just deteriorating in the basement or the attic. So
it's
maybe
not hobbies that you're not going back to.
Yeah, you've been thoughtful about what that is. So a quick win in this category would be to just choose 10 sentimental items and think about which 2 you would be the most, wanting to keep, and be thoughtful about the why and where you're going to keep it and display it and enjoy it.
Yep. So yeah, it's the 2 of 10 rule, right? So lay out 10, pick your favorite 2.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So next category, systems. So it's just kind of a prep, like where you kind of make a list of for your systems of your things. So where do your donations go? Where do you like to keep them? Where does the paper go? Because we already talked about, is there a landing space for that? Like, where do your keys go? So we created like a little area where all of our keys go all the time. And it does, I don't always put them there. I'm always the problem. Just going to be honest with you all. But most of the time I do. And if they are there, it's very easy. Like, it's very simple to get. So it takes no brain power, I guess. This systems really gives you a place where you don't have to use as much brain power because there's a system around it. And so the donations go here. We have a bag, and if you're going to donate something, that bag gets filled up, and when it's full, we take it out the house and go to the donation place.
Yeah.
Right?
We talked at the beginning of the episode about routines and starting to build some small routines weekly or daily to support that. And this is like revisiting that and revisiting the routines you built then or other routines you have, and how do you make them easier, most efficient, doable. It's like you've been doing them for a little bit. How do you improve that? And just, this is how we do fill in the blank, whatever, to make life easier. We talked on one of the episodes a little bit about habit stacking. And that's kind of what a system is a stack of habits that make something go from one point to the next most smoothly. And so talking about like where donations go, what's the system that makes it most efficient and most likely to be done would be stacking that on a donation drop-off place close in location to somewhere you already go routinely. And then it's like every week when I go to church, I take one bag to the donation drop-off down the street, or every time I go to, Sam's Club or Costco once a month, I take a donation box to that. So it's looking at that system that makes it the least likely for you to fail at it, because it's so easy and it's stacked with things that you're naturally going to do. It follows your natural schedule or your natural tendencies to make things more likely to be accomplished.
Yes. Yeah. Habit stacking is super smart. Really, really is. So you're doing something already so easy for yourself, then you stick it on there and it just turns into something easy too.
Yeah, it turns into your whole system around whatever, saying I keep a donation box in the front hall closet or in the back of my car so you don't have to lift it when it's heavy, and here's where I take it, and here's what time frame. All of those small choices together are a system versus, oh, I should gather up some donations.
Right.
That's a thought. And so this is just looking at some of the things you've been doing already and how to make them continue.
Yep. Okay, so next one is pre-holiday simplification. So when the holidays come around, what are the kind of things we're going to need to do? So clear guest spaces, maybe. Maybe you're going to have people come and visit, or simplify your kitchen. You know, maybe you've got your cabinets are falling out of things, right? Things are falling out of the cabinets, and you need to, simplify that. Maybe it's declutter your old decor so that when you go to put up the holiday decor, you don't have a whole bunch of stuff to try to let go, move around and pack or whatever you're trying to over decor, right? Like, so you want to, maybe you need to declutter all of that before you start to do the holiday stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I know when we were growing up, before any, we'd get excited as kids to help put the Christmas tree up and hang the ornaments, but my mom had a system around it. Like, nope, first we pull all the furniture out and we wash all the baseboards and we, vacuum and, because she had to rearrange things a little bit to make room for the tree. And it was always like, oh yeah, let me know when you're done with that part.
Because I want to decorate.
Because I just want to hang, like 10 ornaments and then run away. But it was, that whole system of, okay, but we're going to get ready for this tree. We're not just going to put it on top of clutter or a crowded room.
Right.
We're going to deep clean the room because of that preparation for guests coming over for those activities. And we're going to, put the boxes back. And it was all just intentional instead of haphazard.
Smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you need to clean out the linen closet because you wash some linens, change the beds for guests, do all of that. But you could simplify that area. So what areas do you need to simplify for before the holidays?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, the next one is let go with gratitude. So sometimes your kids may or may not want things that you have. So you're going to let it go and you're not going to feel guilty about it. So that's why you're going to do it with gratitude. And your kids may want it and they may not want it, and that's okay. So guilt isn't good for you for keeping things because you feel like you should, and it's not good for your kids for making them take them when you don't want to keep them. But there are some things kids want and they really want them, and your kids want some things that you're not ready to get.
Yeah, they were teasing me about some of the kitchen items they want. But also in the same conversation with my son, he's got a son of his own right now, my grandson, and he was starting to revisit some of the things, and he texted me about a puzzle that we used to do when he was little, and he was asking, if we still had that for my grandson and my granddaughter to do, and was excited for that to come back out next time they're over. And so but I wouldn't have had in my head like, oh, Stephen wants this puzzle.
Right.
It was just random that I still had it for them. And so definitely those conversations are important as to what their memories are around and what they loved. And then if it's not for them, if you have things that you're ready to give away, but it's not the things your kids want, there are so many places to give, that you will receive that gratitude, or know that gratitude is out there for the people receiving it. There's a lot of people in need, and you can really give with a big heart
for sure
of stuff, and know that someone's putting it to good use.
And when you're looking at the stuff, look at it through a lens of like what your legacy is, like what you're known for, what you want, to keep, to remind yourself of what that looks like. And the rest of it, if it's not fitting into those categories, that's the stuff that you can bless others with.
Yeah. Yeah. And just being thankful for the part that it was in your life, but not needing to hold it forever.
Right. You don't need to keep it just to be thankful or remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So as we cycle back around, to get through kind of all of these main categories, as always, at the end, you want to look at your progress and celebrate your wins.
Yeah.
If you've been going through these categories over the course of a few weeks or a year or whatever that looks like, time frame wise, at the end, make sure, or multiple times through the process, make sure you're celebrating your wins, you're enjoying a space you may have freshened up and cleaned out, and just, sit in that and think about what feels easier in your day because of what, and how can you multiply that? What's the next hurdle you can ease up on yourself? Notice what happens to your emotions when you walk into a room that you've, cleaned out a lot, or how do you feel when you open a closet door and it's fresh and clean? Was dinner easier to make because your drawers aren't stuffed to capacity with utensils you don't use?
Ask yourself, what worked while you were doing this? What didn't work? What felt easier than you thought it was going to be? And have you put systems in place, and how are they working? And what other systems could you put in place, to make life easier?
Yeah.
So what kind of, rhythm do you want to keep? Do you like the 5 minutes a day? Do you like the 15 minutes a week? What is it that works for you? Is it that you need more landing places for all the things, or everything has to have its place, and if it doesn't have a place, you have to find the place? What is it that you're feeling like really would make a difference as you keep moving through it?
Yeah, are there still any daily frustrations that should be the next logical thing to address? Just evaluating and celebrating, and just, resting for a moment. And then, as always, rinse and repeat.
Right.
It's always time to just kind of go back through the process and do that. So, as you go through all of these categories, we've given episodes on different challenges that can help you through them, episodes on specific categories like the photos or the garage or heirlooms, things like that. So seek those out. And then in general, there's 4 questions that can guide every decision you're making on downsizing, as you're going through your stuff. So you can apply these in different ways. But number 1, do I use it? Number 2, do I love it? Number 3, would I buy it again? And number 4, does it support the life I want to live this year? So if you're feeling stuck on anything, those are the go-to questions.
Love those. So work your way through this stuff, and hopefully that will give you some incentive. Use that original old year, new year temporal landmark to find your motivation on it, and then start taking action on some of these different areas.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, I think that's it for this episode. If you need any resources, our website, downsizingroadmap.com, please reach out to us. We love your reviews, for you to listen to some of those past episodes on some of these categories, and to reach out to us through the contact us on our website if there's anything you have questions on, or you need any resources. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, if there's an episode that you want to hear more about, if there's a topic you want to hear more about, let us know, and we'll do some research and share it with you.
Yeah, awesome. See you next time.
Thanks for joining us on the Downsizing Roadmap podcast. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who might need a little downsizing inspiration. Have questions or ideas for future episodes? Reach out to us on our website, www.downsizingroadmap.com. Until next time, let's keep simplifying and moving forward.